Yep, welcome to Tales Tomorrow. I'm Morrow, your storyteller for today. With me I have some more RPG horror stories. You ever have a moment where somebody just stands a little bit too close to you to the point where it becomes really uncomfortable and you just want to back away from them, but like you can't because you're in a crowded bus and stuff, and no matter what you do, you just can't get away from them, and the closer you get to them, you can start smelling the breath and stuff, and it gets really weird and awkward. You just don't know if you just want to ask them to leave or just maybe kiss. No? Okay, well neither would I. Anyway, let's get some RPG horror stories for today. Silently removed from gaming group. This all happened a long time ago and I'm over it, but I just thought I'd share. All of what I'm going to discuss happened all over the course of a year. Back in 2007, I hosted a get-together of friends. One of them began talking about the current D&D game he was playing with a group of his friends I was chummy with, and it sounded like fun. I asked if I could join. He talked to the DM for me and he agreed. I was told to play it every other Saturday at the DM's house. The game I started playing was World of Darkness. I rolled up a vampire rock star and was just thrown to the game with little adjustment time. Back then I was usually quite shy and got embarrassed easily, and seeing how all these people were interacting at the table made me very self-conscious, so I didn't really roleplay the character right away. It took a couple of sessions before I got the hang of it. Finally did, and things were moving along well. Or so I thought. About 6 or 7 sessions of WoD, we suddenly moved over to D&D 3.5e. No reason given. The DM just wanted to start a new game randomly without completing the World of Darkness campaign. Okay, cool. I rolled up a wizard. During the second session, we were assaulted by some massive group of undead. About 12 or 15 if I remember it correctly. The DM sets up the playfield with minis and he has all the undead grouped up in about 30 feet away from us. When it's my turn in combat, I cast Fireball right at the center of the undead horde. I kill every single one of them with one shot. The DM suddenly goes morose, looks at me and says, "I don't like it when people manipulate the rules of the game." Am I? I was taken aback because I did exactly what the player's guide said I could do. The rest of the table protested his comments, but he didn't seem to like me all that much after that. We played maybe 6 or 7 more D&D sessions, and then suddenly we move on to another game without completing this one. So I'm assuming your DM got mad that you used the spell that you have ability to use? Fireball? I mean, I don't know what level you get it in D&D 3.5, but like in D&D 5th edition, you get it at 5th level. So I'm assuming at 5th level, you probably have enemies that you can fight that aren't going to be grouped up in a nice little circle together. You can just fireball and one-shot all of them right then and there. I'm assuming. Unless that's what the DM thought was going to happen. I mean, what did the DM think was going to happen? If you group them in a single place when the wizard has a fireball, and you know the wizard is going to have a fireball, they're going to use the fireball. It's not wizard's problem if they want to use a fireball or not. It's up to the DM to figure out how to make the combat more varied. Maybe have them all spread out. Maybe, hey, here's a novel idea. Have an undead spellcaster that has counter spell for this specific reason, or something like that. I don't know. I'm sure there's ways to adjust the battle or just a strategy in 3.5 to kind of obfuscate that or deal with a wizard's fireball, one-shotting everything. I think it'll be funny, honestly. So now my friend that introduced me to this group is DMing us in Shadowrun campaign, with the old DM playing alongside us. I roll up badass troll street samurai. I was having an absolute blast with this one since I love everything cyberpunk. I was bonding with the other players except the ex-DM who seems to want to make things difficult for everyone. I felt like I was really starting to jive with the group. So we go on a job to infiltrate this mega core and extract someone. We get in, have a few close calls with being caught, and hide in a big room that's occupied by this strange child and a bunch of unconscious people on the stretchers. Kid starts talking to us like he's our friend. It all seems a little shifty. Part of my character's backstory was that he hates false politeness and isn't very trusting, and this kid sets off all the red flags in his head. So my character decks the kid and knocks him out. The DM starts sulking. Apparently I killed an entire combat scenario before it began. The session ended after that. It was the last time we played Shadowrun. Dude, I think you're cursed to just one-shot every single combat scenario at any time you're playing a game. I think you have an immortal gift to just like put yourself in a perfect position and just like either a fireball or just deck a kid in the face. And there we go. Combat is over. You're one-shotting mechanics without meaning to. I mean, that's kind of funny, honestly. I know it's all coincidental and everything, but it's still really freaking funny. We then started to play a different World of Darkness one-shot where everyone was a werewolf in a pack. I really wasn't a fan of this, but participated because I was really starting to enjoy this type of gaming. Once this was done, we went on hiatus for a few weeks. Also, sorry if I can't say World of Darkness correctly. I bit my tongue and then my cheek and it hurts. Anyway, let's continue. Like 2-3 months later, I was hanging out with my friend who introduced me to this group, and he let it slip that they were playing D&D that weekend. I asked when they started playing again, and he told me a few weeks earlier. I asked why I wasn't invited to join, and he shrugged and told me that the DM just wanted to play with his core group, everyone who played before I joined. It hurts as I was really enjoying myself and I thought these people kinda liked me. I backed away from the friend quite a bit after that, as I felt that since I've been friends with him since junior high, at the time of all this we were in our 30s, that he'd at least tell me that they decided to move on without me. Nope, kind of a betrayal in my eyes. About a year later, I decided to try my hand at DMing a game of my own. I didn't include any of the people from the other group. It was a very fun experience, it was drama-free. At one point, I had as many as 8 players involved. Still DM and play to this day, just not with that group. I'm not sure what the deal was with that group. Maybe it was my experience with that type of gaming and they just didn't like. Maybe it was my gaming style. Maybe they just didn't like someone new invading their turf, something I suspect might be a main factor these people have repeatedly shown signs of over the years. Regardless, I gained some experience and leveled up my own game in its wake. I think the biggest lesson here is if you have a wizard that can cast a fireball, don't just group everything together in a nice little area for the fireball to just kill everything. It's not the wizard's fault for doing the thing they build the character to do. God forbid, imagine you made a cleric that wants to heal, or hey, a barbarian that wants to tank. Oh no, the humanity. Barbarian that wants to be a tank. That's what they picked, Path of the Totem Warrior Barbarian, and they picked the bear aspect. Oh no, the humanity. Anyway, seriously, it's kind of silly. I mean, I think it's funny that you deck the kid and avoid the combat in a single fireball, just avoid the combat, but I think it's less about like you doing anything specific and just those group of people just not vibing with you. I don't know what it is. I think probably what happened is the DM got butthurt that you fireballed their entire room of undeads that are super low level. They got killed, and then they hung on to that bitterness and basically convinced everybody else in the group, hey, we shouldn't have this new guy here. He's gonna ruin all our games. Let's play without him. I don't know. It's like a weird click thing. And then nobody told you about it, not even your best friend. At least your best friend can do is say, hey, so we're gonna be playing some stuff, but the DM is really pissed at you for that one thing. So yeah, sorry about that. You know, and just kind of still stay friends with them. But your buddy didn't even do that. So it's like, you find people that suck out there, but you also find people that are great out there. So don't keep the bad people around. Focus on the good people out there in your life. Anyway, let's get to the next story for today. Ethics for thee, but not for me. In my first ever D&D campaign, I had made a tiefling paladin, hell yeah, former criminal, who was cursed by her goddess to not be able to harm innocents. Her goal in a campaign was to sell her soul and multiclass into warlock to lift her curse and to be free to live her life however she saw fit. The DM predicated that this character may clash with the other two in the group who were allegedly good characters, so I asked if PvP was okay down the line, and we all agreed after clarifying that PvP should be fair, so no assassinating each other in the night. Now, I've said before that I'm not really into PvP when it comes to TTRPGs, like D&D, it's just not built around PvP. However, if everybody has like a social agreement about this kind of scenario being a possibility, and everybody's cool with it, you do whatever you want in your game. If you want PvP, if everybody's cool with it, that's completely fine. I just don't really see a reason for it, unless somebody's doing it for roleplay reasons, you know, like the players are fully in on it. I just don't see a reason to put it in forcefully. After a boss fight where I killed the previous champion of this devil, I got the multiclass and became a warlock, lifting my curse. After that, I explained my backstory to the party, and since our goals were aligned at that moment, I proposed we keep together until we deal with the bad guys and we will reevaluate at a later time. Keep in mind that until this moment, my character had saved children from wolves, had freed cities from occupying cultists, agreed to free some Goliaths that were going to be executed, etc, etc. My party proceeds to kill my character in completely unfair PvP, where I had 1 HP and no spell slots left. Their justification: now that the curse is lifted, you will do bad things, probably. Oh, well, I mean, if you're doing it on a probably, man, that child over there, that orphan child, they'll probably grow up into a criminal, probably. We have to make sure we eliminate them before they do such thing. That noble that just opened up a new school, they'll probably go corrupt and want to just steal the school's money and stuff, probably. So you should probably slay them. That mother that's pregnant with a child, she'll probably sell a child for drugs or something, so we gotta eliminate her and the kid. Double kill! If everything is going off of probablys, then it's not exactly a good motivation. If there's a reasonable motivation, that's a one thing, but on a probably, I could sneeze tomorrow and accidentally cast Eldritch Blast 1,000 times. Probably. Does that mean I need to be eliminated and sent to the 9th level of hell? I don't think so, but maybe, probably. Okay, no problem. I made another character. The DM resurrected my paladin and she became the big bad of the campaign, swearing vengeance. Pretty cool stuff. On to the screwed up part. Our party came across a druid who murdered civilians, refused to let people gather lumber in a savage winter, and attempted to kidnap a diplomat who she promised to negotiate with. Her justification was that a long time ago humans committed genocide of her tribe, and she's the only survivor, so now she hates humans and wanted to take her revenge. Anyway, we defeated the druid and the other two players started talking to her, explaining the situation with other quest lines and asking for help. And I was like, guys, what's going on? Aren't we going to kill this war criminal or at least imprison her? And they both replied, no, we don't want to. Your party has very weird and strange and skewed moral responsibilities or alignments and stuff. It's just so highly inconsistent. They're very wishy-washy. Suddenly, paladin could maybe commit crime, kill him. Found a murderer that killed a lot of people. Let's talk with them, have some tea with them, be nice about it. I mean, what's going on here? So thoroughly confused. My character was murdered by them because she would have done bad things now that she was free of the curse, probably, maybe. Yet the eco-terrorist war criminal was allowed to live and join the party as a NPC. When I asked this question, to reply was, I'm not an actor. I don't think about morality. I just make my character do whatever I want. Well, you completely taken the whole thing of role-playing out of role-playing. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, yeah, I could just make my character do whatever I want, but I feel like that'd just be kind of, I don't know, inconsistent. Yeah, I think it would be extremely inconsistent. You're making a character in a story with a backstory, motivations, and I understand some people don't really care to make a character that just, you know, is some sort of a character. They just want to make like me. This character is me. They are an extension of me, my avatar. And if I want to kill somebody, a murder hobo, I will do so. If I change my mind to kill this player, but not this character here, I will do so on a whim because that's me. I'm so random. Ha 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 ha. I understand some people don't want to have a committed like character they want to play in a campaign. They just want to play for funsies. But this just feels stupid. This just feels dumb. A character that did nothing wrong just want to get the curse taken care of. Oh, gotta slay them because they'll probably be bad, probably. An actual murderer. You know, you should come along with us and join us. We could use you. The DM saw nothing wrong with the whole situation, only told me that if I wanted to leave the campaign, it was acceptable. No hard feelings, so I left. Before anyone blames me for making an evil character, I was not about to roleplay my character as a murder hobo. There was zero reasons for my character to be murdered. If you actually did do something terrible that made the party think that you're gonna do something awful, that'd be one thing, but you didn't do that. You actually help people around and you want to get rid of the curse and just not be bound to some sort of set of laws and rules and stuff and just be free. But instead they were like, well, they'll probably do something bad, probably maybe, so we gotta make sure we kill them, probably maybe. Like if your whole basis on killing off someone's player character and ruin another player's fun is on a maybe probably, I don't think it's a good enough reasoning, honestly. I think this game was just screwed from the start. It's just not worth it dwelling on it or thinking about it. You best just move on to the next games. There are greener pastures out there. This game just sucks. I think it's just stupid, honestly. It's stupid, inconsistent, and I don't know. To me, it just doesn't sound that fun. But that's just me. I'm a dumb tiefling on the internet. Keep finding short stories every single time. I never have long enough stories. Let's do like one more. Might as well. No plan ever works. Is this normal? This is my first D&D table, so I'm not familiar with how things should work out, but I've been playing a table for a few sessions now, and it's been frustrating me to no end how nothing ever works. In today's session, for instance, we had a mission to sneak into an ancient dwarven city that was currently overrun by orcs. Cool setup. Me and the other players spent 2 actual hours talking to an NPC that used to live in the said city, trying to come up with a plan. Ventilation tubes or tunnels to the city? Nope, they don't ventilate their city. Chimneys so the smoke could escape? Nope. The cave is really tall so the smoke just kind of flies up and stays there. No need for a chimney. A side entrance? Nope. A river that could connect to the surface? Nope. They have a small cave leg that doesn't connect to anywhere. Disguised as a half-orc? Half-orcs don't exist. Disguised as an orc? They can tell you apart by the smell. Oh my god. Okay, this is stupid. This is just called a railroad at this point. I don't know what the DM is trying to do, but I feel like the DM is just calling it a railroad. All they want you to do is just waltz through the main gate, say, hello, fellow orcs, we're adventurers. We come here to liberate this place and probably fight you. Maybe. I don't know. What does the DM want them to do? Players clearly are thinking about it. First of all, if you're thinking of like, I don't know how you imagine your dwarves, but I imagine my dwarves like Tolkien dwarves or World of Warcraft dwarves, you know, where they have these large cities and infrastructure and forges and modern day, well, modern day, but like mostly tech-based, modernized-ish, medieval kind of high-techy civilized society with cool buildings. Actually, very similar that I can think of is, in fact, the dwarven city of Orzammar from Dragon Age Origins specifically. I think that's the best fantasy type that I like about it. Like, that's what I imagine dwarf holds to be like. And of course, they're gonna have chimneys, they're gonna have fires, they're gonna have forges, they're gonna have industry of some kind, they're gonna have middle-aged tech and stuff like that, but they're still gonna have something. They're gonna have to deal with byproducts and smoke and everything. At some point, the cave is gonna fill up, it's gonna be spreading everywhere, so they have to have some sort of ventilation of some kind, you know, cracks in the walls, some sort of spring, some sort of way to just deal with the pollution and stuff, because otherwise they'll just suffocate there. So it makes sense, or maybe have some sort of an aqueduct, the sewers, just anything, hidden entrance, hidden mountain entrances would be a really cool thing to have, DM, but apparently DM doesn't want them to do that. They just want to just waltz over to the front. I mean, at that point, just say, hey players, the only way to get into the thing is through the front gate. So through the front gate you go, I guess. Just let him straight up, just tell him that there's no other way to get around. This is a railroad. Front gate you go. Those are just some examples. Every question the players came up with, all reasonable thing for a city to have that we could exploit to sneak into? Nope, nope, nope. Nothing. We spent 2 hours listing things. At the end of the answer was the same. Run through the only gate and fight everything on the way. And this is just one example. Every plan we tried to come up with so far was met with a resounding no. The most egregious example I can remember is that we were staying at the tavern and to save money thought of having one single bedroom per 2 people. And the DM just ominously said, "Are you sure? There will be consequences." Consequences of what? Saving money? Ooh, save money. So terrible. There's consequences to saving money by rooming 2 in a room. Ooh. Seriously, what would happen? I actually want to know. What are the consequences of not having each player in their own separate room and instead of having 2 people bunk together in the same room? What? Are they gonna just suddenly have surprise sex or something? Is that what's gonna happen? Is that the consequences? They suddenly just want to cuddle up in bed and just suddenly just get freaky out of nowhere? Is that what it is? Are you gonna be rolling seduction checks? I seriously want to know, what are the consequences of sharing a room together? I'm not being entitled here. I just feel frustrated that we spend so much energy trying to think of alternate ways to do things and we end up going with the initial plan an NPC gave us. It sounds like your DM just literally cannot adapt and only have one plan, and if you decide to account for a different plan, like, hey, what if instead of taking street A, we take street B and shortcut there? No, not allowed. You're not allowed to do that because in my plan, you have to take street A because I can't think on the spot at this point. I don't know. Either your DM is just not adaptive or they have a specific script, not even a plan, a script that you guys gotta follow that you just don't know about, but you have to just guess at it. Or maybe your DM is just not that creative. Maybe they just think, well, there's a front entrance, they don't need any other entrance. Backways, sewers, nah, pish posh, you don't need that. No, 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 no. If your DM wants to do that, you should probably just tell them, hey DM, next time we go to a place and there's only one way to reach the place, how about you just tell us that? Just say, the only way to enter the place is through the front gate. There's no sewers, there's no vents, there's no back doors, there's no back rooms, there's no way to no-clip through the place. You just have to go through the front door and that's about it. You can't even teleport in there. You can't even phase through the rocks in there. You gotta go through the front door and that's the only way in. And that point I feel like it'd just be a lot clearer and easier on the rest of the players, because instead of trying to big brain some other way to getting around the place, and I don't know, I think the whole fun of like entering into a place, let's say you gotta go from place to point A to point B, you decide as a party how you want to get there, which way you want to take. Do you want to take the front route? Do you want to take the side route, the side path, the mountain path, or the coastal path? Do you want to enter through the front, through the sewers, through the back, through another hidden entrance, teleport inside secretly? The whole fun of adventuring is choosing how you want to approach the situation, and sometimes if a DM just doesn't give you any sorts of freedom and just does just the one way, the railroad, you're gonna be stuck on the railroad. You're not gonna be able to move or feel like you have any kind of player agency. You might as well just say, hey DM, just tell us it's a railroad so we can just go along the railroad and just not question things. Probably a lot easier than having to come up with things for an hour for the DM just to say no when there was never an option in the first place. And with that, that's gonna be all our stories for today. I want to thank you very much for watching, and thanks so much for being here. If you like what I do, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. Also, if the RPG Horror Stories ever goes down, or if you want to submit your own personalized horror story, email is down in the description below. I'll see you again in more Tales Tomorrow. Bye-bye.